Alright, so good night, good day, good afternoon. It all depends on whenever you're looking at this video. Sir Leon here, and today's topic would be scientific notation, or better known as standard form. They both mean the same thing. Now, just like any other topic in mathematics, scientific notation or standard form has its use in everyday life, especially if you want to be a scientist, engineer, or any job that will deal with numbers, whether it be very large or very small. Now let's look at being a scientist, and this will tell you how the whole scientific notation came about. Let's look at that number. Now if you're a scientist, you will have to use this number sometime in your research. Reason being, because that is the weight of planet Earth. That is how much planet Earth weighs. How they came up with this weight, I don't know if they placed Earth on a scale and they weighed it, but that is how much planet Earth weighs. Now imagine having to write this number over and over and over again. Or imagine having to call this number. Now take a few seconds and call that number. Call that number for somebody in your house. Can't call it, right? Alright, just for educational purpose, the number is 5 septillion 972 sextillion. Sounds kind of funny, right? Now imagine having to write this number over and over and over and over again. How much time would that take up? So that is why they invent scientific notation. Scientific notation is a way of representing, is an easy way to represent very large number, or in this case, very small number. Alright? So that is what we will be doing today. Okay, so we have example 1. An instruction is to express this number in standard form. The number we have there is 2,073,000, and we want to express that number in standard form. Now, the most important thing about expressing a number in standard form is to move the decimal point and place it between the first two numbers that is not 0. Now, the first two numbers of this number would be these two numbers here. So we have to move the decimal point and put it between those two numbers. Now we know the decimal point. We don't see any point, but we know the point is at the end here. So we gotta move this point, skip each number, jump between each number, and move it to the first two numbers. Alright, so after you're finished moving the point, you write back all of the numbers and exclude the 0. The point is now here, right? So 2.73, and then you multiply this number by the number 10. You're always multiplying by 10. Whenever you're finished moving the point and the point is between the first number, you're always multiplying it by 10. Now, you have to do something to this 10. You have to raise this 10 to a power. Now, how would you know how many powers to raise the 10 by? It all depends on how many times you skip, how many times you move the point. So let's count and see how many times you move the point. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We move the point 6 times. So this 10 has to be raised to the 6th power. Now key thing to note, as long as you're moving the point to go in this direction, the number that you're raising the point to, the number that you're raising the 10 to will always be a positive number. In some cases, in the next example that I will give you, you'll see you will have to move the point in this direction. And that is when this number here will be negative. Or another explanation can be, if the original number, which is 2,073,000, if that original number is more than 1, and before this is more than 1, this number has to be positive. If it is less than 1, for example, let's say 0.02, then when you're raising this by the power, it has to be negative. Let me show you another example to tell you what I mean. Alright, so we have example 2. Express this number in standard form or scientific notation. So we have 0.00973, and we want to write that in standard form. Once again, key thing, first thing you have to do is move the decimal point between the first two numbers. That is not a 0. So I mean this is the first number, but the number that you want to move the point to, it must not be 0. So you gotta skip. We skip 1, 2, 3, 4. So the point is now here, right? So the new number that we will have is 9.73 multiplied by 10. Once again, it all depends on how many times you move the point. 1, 2, 3, 4. So this number here now has to be raised to the 4th power. But unlike the other example, we move and we gone to that side. So the number that we raise the 10 to, it must be the -4 power because we gone in the opposite direction. Or as I said earlier, 0.00973, that number is less than 1. So that means the power has to be a negative number. Alright, so try out these few and tell me if you got it correct, and comment your answer in the comments. Alright, so try these two on your own. Now key thing to note, after you finish moving the point between the first two numbers here, I know I said not to include the zeros, but in this case, this 0 has a value, so you have to include the 0. These zeros here, they don't have any value, so there's no need to include these zeros. And also, the second one, you will have to place the point between these two numbers. I know I said a 0 must not be included, but the first number must not be 0, but the second number can be. Alright, with that said, comment your answer. Let me see what you guys got.